All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down some absolutely fascinating insights from Cambridge University's Dr. Giles Yeo, who recently went on The Diary of a CEO to reveal the actual, science-backed evidence on how to finally cut through the toxic noise of modern diet culture. Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice out there on what to eat, you are in exactly the right place.
We've got a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to unpack the truth behind confusing fads like keto, the whole gluten-free movement, and the alkaline water scam. And if you stick around, we'll wrap things up with 3 incredibly simple, scientifically backed rules that you can apply to literally any meal.
Kicking things off with Part 1, the diet information overload.
So, if you're constantly confused by all the conflicting health advice out there, I really need you to know that it is absolutely not your fault. Think about it, we're just bombarded 24/7 with messaging that heavily restricts food, creates this intense diet anxiety, and essentially makes us feel like whatever we're eating is somehow wrong. It's crazy, but the more food advice we consume, the less confident we actually become in simply feeding ourselves.
And honestly, the dark side of all that confusion is this very real psychological phenomenon known as orthorexia. Now, this isn't anorexia or bulimia. It's this crippling, obsessive fear of messing up your diet. It's that paralyzing anxiety that if your food isn't prepped perfectly, or if it strays from a super rigid set of rules, it's somehow going to harm you. Dr. Yeo points out that we now have a huge segment of society that genuinely, deeply fears food.
Moving right along to Part 2, the keto diet truth.
There's a stark contrast we need to talk about here. Originally, the keto diet was a medical tool, literally designed to treat severe epilepsy by forcing the brain to use ketones. But today, it's pushed as this miraculous, everyday weight loss cure-all. And sure, forcing your body into ketosis does make you feel really full because of all that high fat content. But its extreme modern form has this highly unpalatable fat-to-protein ratio. For the average person, trying to sustain that safely over, say, a 5 or 10-year period without consuming way too much animal fat, it's incredibly difficult.
Which brings us to Part 3, the gluten-free fad.
Just think about the massive gap in the numbers here. Globally, only about 1% of humans actually have celiac disease, a condition where gluten can literally destroy their gut. Maybe another 3 or 4% have a genuine intolerance, and yet a staggering 25% of the market is out there buying gluten-free products, basically assuming that gluten-free is just a synonym for healthy. The food industry has capitalized on this beautifully, going so far as slapping gluten-free labels on things like rice, which, never even had gluten in it to begin with.
Here is the absolute bottom line. A gluten-free label doesn't automatically mean healthy. A gluten-free donut is still a deep-fried ring of highly processed carbs. Dr. Yeo emphasizes this really cool concept called caloric availability. When food is highly processed, like the refined flours they use in a lot of gluten-free baking, your body extracts almost 100% of those calories instantly. You're still consuming readily available, high-density calories, whether that specific protein called gluten is hanging around or not.
All right, Part 4, the alkaline water scam.
Let's actually trace the biological reality of this one, because it's wild. Proponents are out there claiming that keeping your blood alkaline keeps you healthy. But human biology just doesn't work that way. Step 1, you drink this really expensive pH 8 water. Step 2, it hits your stomach, which sits at a pH of about 1.5. That is basically battery acid. Step 3, it moves into your intestines and is immediately neutralized right back to a pH of 7. The truth is, absolutely nothing you eat or drink can forcefully change your blood's tightly regulated pH of 7.4. It's biologically impossible.
So you're probably wondering, why do people swear they lose weight on it? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The alkaline diet bizarrely categorizes heavy meats and dairy as acidic and just flat out bans them. The only reason people are dropping pounds on this diet is that it inadvertently forces them into a low-calorie, restrictive, plant-based lifestyle. It is literally just a weight loss disguise dressed up as fake chemistry.
Now for Part 5, why your brain hates diets.
Okay, we really need to dive into this one, because understanding this will completely change how you view your own body. Your brain absolutely despises it when you lose weight. The literal second the scale drops, an evolutionary red flag goes straight up. Your brain treats that weight loss as a direct threat to your survival. So what does it do? It fights back, kicking and screaming. It spikes your hunger to unbearable levels, and it secretly, quietly lowers your metabolism. Which means even if you're eating the exact same amount of food, you start storing more of it as fat just so your body can drag your weight back up to where it was.
And right here is the root of the whole problem.
For thousands of years, humans lived in a feast and famine environment. We literally evolved to gorge whenever food was actually around. But today, because of mega supermarkets, preservatives, and extreme agricultural efficiency, calories have never been cheaper or more accessible. You can buy 1,000 calories for next to nothing. We essentially have these feast-famine brains trying to navigate a modern feast-feast environment. So hear this. Weight loss isn't a lack of willpower, and it certainly isn't a moral failing. It's a profound biological battle against your own evolutionary survival instincts.
Let's get to the solutions in Part 6, 3 Rules for Healthy Eating.
To cut through all the noise, Dr. Yeo gives us 3 incredibly powerful yet simple numbers. The first rule, 16. Aim for exactly 16% of your daily energy from protein. Why? Because protein is chemically complex. It takes much longer to digest, it travels further down your gut, and it keeps you totally satiated for hours. But here's the best part. It takes so much energy for your body to metabolize protein that you actually burn 30% of those protein calories just dealing with the digestion. It is basically free calorie burning.
Rule number 2, hit 30 grams of fiber every single day. Right now, the national average is literally half of that. Fiber is so vital because it drastically lowers that caloric availability we talked about earlier. When your food is wrapped in natural plant fiber, your body physically has to work harder to chew and digest it. That means you absorb fewer overall calories, and you completely avoid those massive crashing blood sugar spikes.
And finally, rule number 3 is the number 5. Keep your added sugars under 5% of your total daily energy intake. Now notice I specifically said added sugars. We're talking about the powdered white stuff, the syrups, and yes, even those fruit juices where the sugar has been completely stripped away from the cellular fiber of the actual fruit. Keeping this under 5% limits those empty, instantly absorbed calories that offer your body absolutely zero nutritional benefit.
So, let's recap. 16% protein, 30 grams of fiber, and under 5% added sugars. With those 3 simple, highly measurable metrics in your back pocket, you really do hold the key to sustainable health. Why let confusing fads, fake alkaline science, or orthorexic anxiety steal the fundamental human joy of eating, especially when science offers us such a clear, accessible path forward? So the real question is, are you ready to stop fearing your food and finally start making it work for your biology?